St. Louis yesterday. From St. Louis, I went on to Granite City, and we distribute Granite City, Belleville, and Marissa about $2.8 million to the library system. I run the largest Secretary of State office in the nation, 4,000 employees, $396 million budget, 130 offices and 23 agencies. And the head librarian for the state of Illinois, we distribute about $5 million to the $50 million, I'm sorry, to the library system. And then, of course, we have a literacy program as well, where individuals who come to our great state want to learn English as a second language, obtain their GED, and become better educated, better informed. $6.6 million a year goes to that program. And then organ tissue donation here in Illinois. We have 5.5 million people who become organ donors. Here we have 5,000 people on the waiting list as we speak. And each year, about 300 people die because the organs have not arrived in a timely manner. We ask that when you're alive and well, give blood, when you're no longer here, give organs. When you've done those two things, you've made a positive impact on society. Consider the fact that one person can provide life or improve the quality of life for 25 individuals. And then in charge of the archives, state archivists to be exact, license plate stickers, state IDs, securities, indexing, business services, the list goes on and on. And when I came to this office in 1999, this office was on a cloud of controversy. And so I brought in a fellow by the name of Jim Burns, who's the former U.S. attorney from the district, Northern District of Illinois.
Former Chicago Bull, too.
That's exactly right. And he has helped me to clean up the office. And right now, this office, we've been able to modernize, streamline, computerize the office to the point where individuals who come into our offices now no longer have to bring the duffel bag, sleeping bag, or the lunch pail. We try to get them in and out in a timely manner. And we've also set up a system by which, Gary, if you're a senior citizen, if you're disabled, or you're pregnant, we bring you to the front of the line. And then if you are a senior citizen, we give you a free state ID. And the only time you have to come back to the Secretary of State's office is if by chance you want a better picture. That has never been the case. And so we're proud of the fact that we've been able to help make the roads of Illinois the safest ever. We involved ourselves in what is called the GDL, the Graduated Driver's License Program, where we require parents to spend 50 hours behind the wheel with their child, and of those 50 hours, 10 of those hours will be done at night. Nighttime restriction during the day, or during the week, is, well, let me back up. Nighttime restrictions is 10 o'clock, and then weekends it's 11 o'clock. And we also are proud of the fact, too, that we have what's called the BAID device, B-A-I-I-D, breath ignition interlock device, where if you get a DUI for the first time and you want to drive while your legal matters are being adjudicated, then we will install this device in your car. And we also have become more sophisticated. We also install a camera so we now know who the person is who is blowing into the device. As a result of that program, there's been a 26% reduction in loss of lives in the hands of drunk drivers. Going back to the graduated driver's license.
26% from when?
From about 2
Before
years.
the bait device?
Before the base device was installed.
Okay.
Going back to the graduated driver's license program, there's been a 60% reduction in the loss of lives in the hands of our teen drivers. And if you have one, that's one too many. And so I have had the great pleasure of serving in this office for the past 15 and a half years. I am the longest serving Secretary of State in the history of the state of Illinois. And I want to thank the people of this wonderful state for allowing me to serve. I'm a former military person, so I believe that when there's a mission before you, you see it from its beginning to its conclusion. And I'm a former professional baseball player, and I want to clear the record. I like the Cubs, Cardinals, and White Sox, and not necessarily in that order.
And down here, you probably should have said Cardinals. Cubs.
Well, let me share this with you. I was born in Alton, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
And I was raised up a fan of the St. Louis Cardinals. Whitey Karowski, Marty Marion, Red Shane, Stan Musial. Every day, whenever they play a ball game, I was listening to them on the radio. Then we moved to Chicago, and then out of college, I signed a contract to play baseball for the Cubs. And So then after I finished my 8 years of playing professional baseball, I acquired a love for all three. So it's not a political answer.
The secretary, when we were down in St. Louis earlier this year, he threw out the first pitch at a Cub game for an organ donation.
Oh, nice.
And we went up to the radio booth to do an interview with John Rooney and Mike Shannon, and
Oh, nice.
Rich Jenkins was up there.
I actually think I had heard, I was listening that night.
Oh.
I did too.
Wow.
I wish I had.
I've enjoyed this job tremendously. And through the organ donor program, I got a chance to throw out first pitch at the Cubs game, the White Sox, and the St. Louis Cardinals, along with a lot of the minor league teams as well, like Marion, done that quite a few times.
When you were with the Cubs, did you ever get up to the bigs, or were you always in the minors?
No, let me share this with you. I'm glad you asked the question. Out of college, I signed a contract for baseball for the Cubs, and 4 days before going to spring training, I was drafted into the Army.
Mm.
So they sent me to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and while I was there, I decided I wanted to jump out of airplanes. They transferred me from Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Did my 35 jumps. Came back to Chicago, put my uniform in the closet, got my ball bat and glove, flew off to Mesa, Arizona for spring training with the Cubs. And then they sent me on to some of the lower minor league teams, and eventually I played in the Texas League, and then later on, for the last 3 years, the AAA, Pacific Coast League for Tacoma and Salt Lake City.
And many of the guys he played with, and he would go to spring training at Mesa, were on the '69 team.
Oh, yeah.
Kessinger, Becker, Santo,
Right.
Williams,
Oh, yeah,
Banks,
and
Fergie.
Randy Hundley was asked, who was the hardest person for you to throw out? Lou Brock? He says, no, Jesse White. I thought that was an extreme compliment. And then Joe Torre, I used to play ball against him a lot.
Yeah.
And Glenn Beckard and
So
Kenny
you
Hull.
never got called up for even a single game?
No, but I used to play ball against
Darn.
him in spring training, and I used to knock the cover off the ball, but for some reason my age, I was 2 years later going into baseball because they were in a youth program. They wanted to get the younger guys. I was about 26 at the time. And they liked the 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds.
So you've been the secretary for 15 years, and as you told me on your way in, you're now 80 years of age. Why in the world do you want another term in office?
There's a lot more to be done. And first of all, I'd like to thank the people of the state of Illinois for allowing me to serve 16 years as a state lawmaker. People of the county of Cook for allowing me to serve for 6 years as running the second largest recorder deeds office in the nation. And now 50 and a half years running the largest Secretary of State office in the nation. There's a lot more to be done, and I'm up for the task. This will be my last tour of duty, and I raise my hand to you to let you know that I'm sincere about it. And I just want to make the roads of Illinois the safest ever. I want customer service to be the best ever in the history of the state of Illinois. And then, as I said, indicated before, corruption was rampant within this office when I first arrived. The employees were required to buy fundraising tickets, do political work, and I just thought that was ugly. So I banned that practice. And then you have employees who would take bribes in order to give someone a license. That's unacceptable conduct. And so I want to make sure that we dot our I's, cross our T's, and continue to go along the path of making sure that we have the finest run office of government.
The scandal that you referred to with the driver's licenses being available for sale.
Yes, let me tell you.
Operation Safe Road.
Yeah.
Let me share with you, Gary, what was happening. When I came into the office, individuals who worked there sometimes would be asked to sell $1,000 worth of buy $1,000 worth of tickets twice a year. And matter of fact, let me be more specific. My daughter worked for the Secretary of State's office 6 years before I arrived there, and she was required to buy and sell $1,000 worth of tickets twice a year.
Mm.
So I would give her $500 of my personal money, not in check form, because that was a different administration. And I thought it was ugly then, and I thought it was ugly
Is Ryan the governor at this point?
Well, all of the previous secretaries of state had this practice.
Okay.
And they asked me, what is your attitude about fundraising? I said, there's no fundraising on the part of my employees, and no selling of tickets, and no purchasing of tickets, or doing political work. Because I believe if you're doing a good enough job, there are enough people of goodwill out there who will help me to arrive at where I need to be financially.
This is our publisher, John Pfeiffer.
John, nice to meet you.
Me too.
And so right away, I had some meetings with some of the employees, and they wanted, well, what is your attitude about fundraising? I said, there is no fundraising on your part. All I want you to do is discharge your duties to the best of your ability. If you do those things and more, we will function properly in the area of raising funds for my re-election bid. And then I was also asked, too, would I use this office as a stepping stone to further my political ambitions like others? And I said, no, I'm going to run for this office and this office only, and I've been true to my word.
You said that you're anxious to be reelected because there's a lot that needs to be done. What are some of the specifics that you want to get accomplished?
Well, I want to concentrate, I want to look at, we have the motor vehicle task force. We're going to reestablish that one because there have been a lot of truck accidents on our highways with vehicles, with private vehicles. We want to see how we can curtail or address that issue. We are at the top of the line when it comes to customer service. There's a lot more to be done in that area as well. We also want to be able to figure out ways by which we can continue to use technology, but use it at its max to help provide those services that the people which they need and deserve. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. We used to give you a driver's license, and then when the 4-year period had expired, we would, for the renewal, we'd give you a sticker.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
We no longer do that. We need to get that back from you, because we no longer do that. We send you out a new license if you have not had any problems. Otherwise, you have to come in and do what's required in order to qualify for it. Yes, that's obsolete.
Mine expires next year. Can I wait till then, or should I go down to the office and get it taken care of now?
I think we can work that out for you.
Okay.
And
Let us know when you want to go in.
and no test would be required.
Good.
You see, what
I'd
happens?
pass it if I
Yeah,
had to.
people, I know you. People who would go to the airport, sometimes they'd
Right.
question it. And sometimes when you'd go to rent a car, you'd
Mhm.
question the authenticity of it. And so I said, well, let's make it convenient for the citizens of the state of Illinois. Every 4 years, if you have had any problems, we will send you out by way of mail. Otherwise, you have to come to our office if you're required to take a test, and take the vision, take the driving test, and then, of course, you then qualify for the new license.
Yeah, I had that issue at airports before I got my new one.
And then something else that we've been able to do, again, to speak to technology. This is your card.
Yep.
If you ever see a license, state ID, or a driver's license that looks like this in terms of shape, what does it mean to you? It means that you're under the age of 21.
Oh, really? That's the way you do it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Now, when it turns this way, when you reach age 21, then it's horizontal like the one you have in your wallet. Now, we did that to help the bar owners, the people who sell tobacco, alcohol, or owners of clubs, bars, that if the person comes in and says, well, let me see your driver's license. It's vertical or horizontal or vertical, then you know right away you're under the age. So that way we've been able to help the owners to stay out of harm's way, and we let the kids know that they no longer can doctor up a license. But you know what I mean? They used to change the date of birth.
No, I don't know about that.
You mentioned a minute or two ago being I think you used the term top of the line in terms of customer service.
Yes.
This is compared to whom, or?
Well, it's compared to what it used to be. You used to come into the Secretary of State's office, and you have to think about spending a day or half a day. And you have to schedule your day around going to the DMV. And then you should be treated in a disrespectful manner. And that's a zero tolerance as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna write a book one day of why I fired over 500 people in the Secretary of State's office, and not a one for political reasons. All because they didn't know how to treat you when you walked through the door, or they did something that was improper. Zero tolerance for that. We're talking about the taxpayers of the state of Illinois, the paid customer. No, treat the person like the way that you like to be treated.
So feedback through DMV customers is more positive than it was in the past, is what you're
Every place I go, they talk about how nice the people were at the DMV, and they were wholesomely surprised.
You talked a little bit about the motor vehicle task force that you'd like to get back together again, and incidents of truck accidents. Can you go into that a little bit more? I mean, what's the motor vehicle task force?
I met with a fellow by the name of Don Schaefer. Don is the president of the Illinois Truckers Association. And we used to have this task force, and we would address some of the problems surrounding truckers or truck drivers, trucking companies. And so we want to spend some time exploring what we can do to make our roads safer and address some of the problems of truck accidents, etc. Now, let me share something else with you too that we've done. If by chance you go through driving school, get your CDL, or you want to get your CDL, and you want to drive a truck with hazardous materials on it, you submit your paperwork to a private agency, and they will then send them information to the FBI, and they will check your background and make sure that you are a person of good character. And then once that paperwork comes back, then we will issue you your driver's license. In this way, we were keeping the bad guys from driving trucks, if you know what I mean. I'm talking about people who want to harm this country in some way. I guess you are familiar with 9/11. Those individuals were able to get the driver's license, and then use the driver's license to run a truck, and eventually do harm to our country. So we also want to reestablish the graduated driver's license program, GDL. We want to see what else we can do to help our young people. I told you a moment ago that we were able to, it's been a drop of 60% in terms of loss of life. We want to see if we can bring it even more. So there are a lot of things that we're going to use with regard to our committees to see how we can move this office forward and how can we address the problems of, not the problem, but making our roads a lot safer. And we want to also make sure that I'm involved with customer service too. We're doing a good job with that. There's more to be done. Cannot rest on our success.
You know, I know you're down here for the DuQuoin State Fair and other things, but what are you going to do after you leave here? Just tell us your whole schedule.
Well, after I leave here today?
Yeah.
Oh, from here I'm going to go fishing for a few hours.
Where at?
I don't know, they're going to take me to some kind of fishing hole for about 2 or 3 hours.
Who are you going fishing with?
With some of the guys from the neighborhood here. I don't know who the people are, but HW, he's my guy. He hooked me up with some people. And someone drowned I shouldn't say drown minnows or drown worms, that doesn't sound very good. But I'm going to do some fishing. A little R&R, a little relaxation, because ever since I've been here, I've been working, and now it's time to relax for a few months. Then I'm going to the State Fair Parade. My tumblers are on their way down from Chicago, and then I'll be with them for a little swimming and a little recreation at the State Fairgrounds, DuQuoin State Fairgrounds.
Yeah, right.
And then we'll get into the parade route.
Sounds fun.
And don't you have a reception there tomorrow?
And then I have a reception there tomorrow morning. And then I'm going to drive back to Chicago. We have a big show at North Avenue Beach. And then we're going up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin for a show, and then to the Kane County Cougars for a baseball game.
It's a busy schedule.
Well, I have 325 young people on the team, 7 units, and out of those 7 units, we do about 1,500 shows a year. Last Saturday, I did 6. Last show we did was at the United Center. We did the United States Brazil basketball game. And we have to have all the NBA teams, and I think with the exception of Oklahoma City. And we probably do about 30 colleges and universities, about 400 elementary schools, probably about 75 high schools. We've been to Zagreb, Croatia, Belize, Israel, Tokyo, Japan on 3 occasions for them on television, Hong Kong for the Chinese New Year, Honolulu, Hawaii, Hawaii, 17 times in Canada, twice in Rio, once in the Cayman Islands, 4 movies, 4 plays, and 25 commercials. These trips are usually on weekends, you know, like a Friday to Monday, Friday to a Sunday night. So I don't lose sleep, but then some of them I take as part of my vacation.
How did you ever start this tumbling team? I don't think I ever asked you that.
Well, I'm glad you asked. I was a gymnast as a kid. I taught gymnastics in college, taught for the Board of Education, Park District YMCA. And when I was playing baseball during the off season, I taught school during the day, worked for the Park District, and I was asked to put on a gym show. From the one gym show in December 1959, came to Jesse White tumbling team.
In 1959 is where it got started.
Yes.
And this is this is a Chicago unit,
Yes.
mostly South Side.
No, it's Chicago itself, and
Okay.
then 11 cities outside of Chicago.
All right.
That's my team, but I also have a lot of subsidiaries. A lot of the kids who were with me now want to form their own program. And I told you we went to Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
One of my tumblers that's his inauguration. It's his first venture. He established his own program. And so we're going to perform up there for them.
Kids have to try out for your team, don't they?
They do. And we have about 700 kids at Moody Bible in the latter part of September. We'll have about 1,200 kids at Tootie Park in January. I forgot to tell you too, out of our 325 young people, 71 are in college. We give each one between $3,000 to $8,000 toward education. All the kids are required to maintain at least a C average in order to be on the team and remain on the team. And then when you're in college, you have to also submit your grades because that can interfere with your scholarship. So it's called tough love. And the kids have to be leafless, smokeless, and pipeless. The only time they can practice pharmacy is after they're in a white coat. That means no drugs. I have one more that you may like. They cannot be a part of SWU. That's a famous university. It's called Sidewalk University, where they drop out of school, hang around the corners, get themselves in trouble, or get arrested, go to prison. And it costs we the taxpayers between $20,000 to $60,000 a year to put one person in prison for 1 year. 83% of the people in prison today have not graduated from high school. So now you know who they are, I know who they are, and I need some partners in this effort to save as many kids as we possibly can.
Now, among the jobs that you have, you mentioned earlier, the state librarian part of the job. Kind of one of our local library systems in the past few years has closed a few of its smaller branches in small towns. Most recently, Pittsburgh closing within the past few weeks. Kind of, what can be done to help keep some of these small town libraries alive and in the community?
Well, they should talk with us if they have problems. And sometimes poor management and sometimes lack of community effort will cause that to happen. But we are up to speed in terms of support for those libraries. Let me give you an example. When I flew into St. Louis yesterday, we went over to Granite City. And Granite City needed to refurbish their library. They wanted to make it handicap accessible. They wanted to redo the roof, reconfigure the room where they wanted to have space set aside for the children, and a few other things. And so we gave them a matching amount of $2.1 million. They came up with half of it. And and so they qualify for assistance from us. And every year, we consistently support libraries by giving them a grant. But when it comes to construction grant, then that comes into another arena. And if you come with half of the money, we will support you.
Kind of why is it important to keep libraries in some of these smaller towns the way things are going with
Well-
everything converting to digital? Kind of what's that add to those communities and why is that an important thing?
See, what is a community without a library? Not much. People come to the library because, number one, it's the greatest source of computers. They want to become better educated and better informed. They want to check out books. They can check out CDs. They can do a multitude of things and do research. So the library is the place to go. And then it's also a place for latchkey children. Mothers at work, single parent, gets off at 5, kid gets out of school at 3. Where's the kid to go? Go to the library.
Working on resumes, job hunting.
And keeping in touch with the outside world.
No, when we walked in, you said you still can do a handstand.
I still do that, yes.
Seriously?
Yeah. You see me when we come down to Southern.
When was the last time you were here? I remember. Was it a year or two ago?
About a year ago.
I don't remember when we were at the SIU arena or.
About 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Glenn Bouchard was the president at the time. Yeah, it was last year. Yeah, about 2 years ago.
You do one every day?
Do what?
You do a handstand every day?
No, not every day. Only when it shows. But as I
For
said,
perspective, I never have done one.
I wouldn't even try one.
let me share with you a few other things that I have a little cheat sheet here.
We got the same thing?
No, you don't. Have the same thing.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you don't have the same thing. You know, I came with the idea of meeting with the Blackhawks to establish a Blackhawk license plate. And they agreed with the making of the license plate, but they wanted the funds to go to their special project, their special program. And I said, no, we want to direct those dollars to the Common School Fund. And so they relayed it, they said, yes, okay, fine. So then we went to the Chicago Cubs, and they bought into this idea. Then to the Bears, to the Bulls, and to the White Sox, and they all said yes. So we have 5 license plates out of the sports team license plates.
What kind of?
$25 from the sale of each one of those license plates will go to the Common School Fund. This program is about 2 years old, and right now we've distributed about $2 million to the Common School Fund as a result of it. The most popular plate that's out there right now is the Blackhawks. Number 2 is the White Sox. Number 3, the Cubs. Number 4, the Bears. And last is the Bulls.
You know, we did reach out to the St. Louis Cardinals, and there was a problem being out of state.
I suppose.
That,
A lot of Illinois Cardinal fans, though.
But, oh yeah, absolutely, we wanted to do it, but I think it was Major League Baseball was the problem. I think the Cardinals were interested.
There's something else I want to, so that's $2 million went to education, and more services than ever are being done online with the Secretary of State's office. And we've generated $155 million, which is a $300 million increase from the use of technology. And we're proud of the fact that people can go to their computer and get the draw on their license, sign to become a part of the orientation donor program, just renew a multitude of things by way of the use of their computer to our system.
The office takes Visa now too, don't you?
Take what now?
Takes Visa cards?
Yes, we take Visa.
That's a great
But we
change.
don't take, just Discover, I think is the one
No.
we don't
Yeah.
take. We take Discover now?
We do them all.
Okay.
Visa was the last holdout.
It was?
Yeah, I always used to forget to have a check with me when I would go, so I'd have to go, remember there's no Visa, go home and get the checkbook and head back.
Has there been cost savings with doing more and more stuff online?
Oh, yes, yes. It's also been convenient for the customer too, so now you don't have to get in your car, go to the DMV, get in line, and then bring your check, or bring your Visa or your MasterCard. Do it from the comfort of your home or your office.
The registration renewal, I think that by itself was like $500,000. The mail out, we do a small card now instead of the envelope. And, do that. And I think the Secretary was going to be alluding to about creating an app to be able to do that on your smartphone.
The other thing that I want you to understand that is we've been very supportive of making sure that our roads are safe by initiating an effort to put a ban on the use of texting while driving, the use of cell phones in school zones and construction zones, and we've been supportive of the effort to ban the use of handheld cell phones throughout the state of Illinois. But we want the roads of Illinois, as I said before, to be the safest ever, and we work every day toward that end.
Has there been a noticeable difference since the handheld phone ban went into place?
It has been, but there's still a problem of enforcement.
You're
We
telling
don't have
me, I
enough.
see people on phones
Me too.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I wish we could figure out a way to not only monitor, but to let people know, and I think through your media, your newspaper, and every place I go, I talk about the fact that we should not be talking to our cell phone while driving, no, shouldn't be texting while driving. I put texting in the same category that I put a drunk driver. You don't have any control.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're asleep at the wheel, so to speak.
We are optimistic that a comparable situation would be to what has occurred with seatbelts. When the state passed primary law on that people could be arrested or stopped and ticketed for it, I think the percentage of people using seatbelts was in the low 40s. It's close to 90% now. So hopefully with law enforcement participating on ticketing and letting people know that they're being watched on the cell phones, hopefully society will move in that direction too.
Worked for me.
So being in an area where we've got borders with Kentucky and Missouri and all of that nearby, kind of what is done for commuters who are coming into Illinois from out of state to let them know what the laws are in this state when you cross state lines? Is that any kind of something that's been looked at with cell phone bans and things like that?
That's something that I'm gonna look at. That's really nice. I think signage would be important.
I think the Department of Transportation has done
Okay.
some work. I think
I don't get down that
technically
way
comes
very
under-
often, didn't
Yeah.
know what's out
Yeah,
there.
some
but most
signs
people
up.
think that pertains to Illinois residents only. See, I'm an outsider, I'm from Indiana, or I'm from Kentucky, doesn't pertain to me, no. You know,
In our
ca-
state, you
ca-
follow our laws.
Just like you respond to the sign that limits your speed, like 65 miles an hour. If you have a sign that says, no use of handheld cell phone, well, if you respond to the sign that deals with the speed, you should respond to the sign that says you cannot use your cell phone. So to use the excuse, I'm from out of state, should not carry today.
Unless you get a sympathetic officer and it's a legitimate mistake. They have some discretion on that, I
Oh, sure.
suppose, but if they
Sure
see
they
the
do.
same person doing it every day,
But then after a while, you know, you being a police officer, you've heard it all.
I bet.
You say, no mas, no more.
Well, thanks for your visit.
Well, I'm always glad to see my great Roman friend.
Good to see you.
Great.